Hello and welcome to The Print. We have with us Mr. Ratan Sharda today. He is a lifelong member of the RSS and welcome to The Print, Mr. Sharda.
Hi.
He's written, so you have written a piece in The Organizer, a very telling piece titled Modi 3.0 Conversation for Course Correction. In this piece, you've spoken about a lot of things actually, which we will get into in the course of our interview. But one of the things that you look at, on which you focus, is the overconfidence of the BJP Karyakartas and many leaders of the BJP that arguably led to the result in the Lok Sabha election that we saw. At the same time, yesterday we also saw RSS Sarsanchalak Mohan Bhagwat uh, speak out for the first time after the Lok Sabha results, and even Mr. Bhagwat spoke about the ahankar of certain leaders that we saw during the election. And he also talked about the bitter sort of campaign during elections and how the decorum, the maryada, was not maintained during the election. So before we move to the piece that you wrote for the organizers, can you um, contextualize and help us understand a little bit about this ahankar that Mr. Bhagwat was talking about, and who does the RSS feel has become ahankari?
Sanya, thanks for inviting me to this platform. And I would first of all say that what Mohan Bhagwat said applies to all the political parties across the spectrum. I would like to draw your attention that I wrote an article 3 days before the election were over that
Hmm.
let us return to sane politics. When at sane, I meant that above this hateful campaigns, above this abusive debates, above this insulting way of talking to each other and bitterness, that we should leave it behind. High time that we move to more constructive mode of politics that used to be the earlier norm in Indian politics, and that is the way it should go. Bhagaji said the same thing. Now, when you talk of arrogance, there is arrogance in the Congress that only they are the ruling party. So, as an overall scenario, Mohanji being from RSS, who have already talked civilly with the worst opponents, try to bring people to the viewpoint with good, gentle talk, and been successful most of the time. For for RSS, there has this normal, your normal nature would like tempers of the public discourse go down and become genteel. That's what he said. So I'm not. I'm very sure it's not targeted to one particular political party. It's targeted to everybody.
But do you think he also meant the BJP? And do you think, I mean, of course, you have written about this, and I would want to come to your
So there is
argument.
one is see, one is the arrogance of power. I am not talking of arrogance of power.
Hmm.
I am talking of the arrogance or I would say high-handedness of middle tier leaders or local leaders who believe because they are in the enjoying life under the shadow of Mr. Modi for last 10 years that they will be ruling and they will be getting the votes anyway. When Modi ji said 400 par, it was not meant for the people. It was meant more for the party to work hard. If you listen to his speeches on the workers' platform, he said, "Please go out, reach out to people." Kept on telling MPs, "Go meet, reach out to the people," and that was a message. And it was also a message to opposition as a kind of challenge. And opposition initially fell for it. In fact, that went on another. How can BJP get 400 seats instead of saying what they will get, which they did not declare till the end of the election? They said what BJP is, how will it get 400? So it was a challenge for a party to reach at a certain level. They have to go high. So I never believed in this 400 plus. In my interviews, even before results, during a campaign, I said, to my mind, BJP will be around 300 to 325. Yes, I was wrong because UP was a big, big failure. I was afraid of Karnataka and Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra. That was right. So there are always some, missteps in the election. But as I said, the workers took it in a wrong way, and that everything is fine, and we can make anybody a candidate, we can remove anybody as a candidate, and we need not go to people to get votes because Modi is there. Because see,
No,
these workers, like,
but about the candidates and deciding who the candidates would be. And I, for example, traveled in UP, and of course, even there was a lot of resentment about
yeah,
candidates. A lot of them felt that they have not worked hard on the ground to be now nominated as the candidates. But the candidate selection is not the workers' prerogative, it is the top leadership's prerogative. So
Not in BJP, not in BJP. In BJP, they take the feedback from the field and they take the feedback about the parliamentarian from the field. If they believe the parliament has not done right work, they are also removed. But when you talk of the kind of disconnect, when you give 25% tickets, 110 tickets to defectors, on those who have abused RSS, BJP, and never regretted that, when they get the tickets, then naturally the worker at the ground level who has suffered that abuse will not be agreeable to that. Even the BJP voters who actually support BJP in thick and thin, they will also not, like that.
So, but
On the other side,
who can
they
be
could
held
not address. See,
responsible?
when I say comfortable level, when they knew that Congress is spreading fake news and creating a lot of impact on SC, ST people who innocently started believing that BJP is going to remove the reservation, naturally there is something amiss because as a worker on the field, they should know what is happening in the society. So these are the factors we talk about.
But about the defectors you mentioned, and even on the ground, you saw a lot of resentment to all the defectors
Naturally,
coming
yes.
into the party.
Yeah.
Who can be held responsible for it? Bringing in so many people from outside the party who do not have a background in the RSS, who do not have any ideological sort of affinity to the RSS or to the BJP. Who can be held responsible for this?
The ideological affinity can be built. Hemanta Biswa Sarma, who was a lifelong Congress person, is more Sanghi now than the Sanghis, right? Yogi is not a RSS person. He was supported by RSS when he was made chief minister, and he also is more Sanghi than any Sanghi person. So that is fine. But that acknowledgement that I made a mistake by saying 2611 is RSS Sajish, or somebody saying that RSS is a terrorist organization, never regretting or never expressing why he said so. And when you expect people to vote for them, and defectors who had no moral or ethical standard, when they get ticket immediately, and people for long time have worked at the ground level don't get. So that is a problem. That's a mistake there.
But my question being, who should be held
Naturally, those who selected. I mean,
but
what other explanation for that? I said in the case of Maharashtra that they will have to they might appeal for protection of their rights as original BJP workers. So there is that fear in the mind of the BJP workers also, and definitely it must have been conveyed to them. As I said, changing the opinion, changing the party is fine, but there must be a cooling period. There must be reason for the person to say, okay, I made a certain mistake. I was abusing you. I was criticizing you, but I have changed chapter because these are 10 reasons. And it's fine. And then give them chance when that is due. But at the cost of the 25%, candidates, it gives a very poor image of BJP. Forget about anything else. कि भाई आपके पास 25% कैंडिडेट कम कैसे पड़ गए? That is where the cadre gets a little disturbed. So when I say cadre, I'm very clear that BJP cadre I'm talking of. Yes, even RSS is not unhappy. They are not going to influence. We didn't complain openly. We just joked about it. But RSS cadre would need to be convinced. So that's what I'm saying. All these people who have come back, were they able to gel with the local, party, or they were talking with the top leaders? That's the question. When somebody talks only to the top party and doesn't talk to local people, believing the guys will anyway, make me win, there is an issue which will blow up later on. If somebody goes and sits with the workers and takes them into confidence and takes them along, they'll happily work for them. Then there is nothing you can or anybody can actually try to deviate them from or confuse them. Whether that happened or not, somebody has to answer. See, in Himachal Pradesh, 30% rebels were there in Himachal Assembly election, right? Why they were there? Because large number of paratroopers got the tickets, which local people could not, somehow, like it. And in which party, even BJP, forget any party, you don't have that kind of rebellion. 30%. If somebody had paid attention to that, it won't happen in Lok Sabha, no?
So you mentioned in your article, you talk about how BJP MPs, local leaders also were not available on the ground. They were not listening to people on the ground. Can you elaborate on that
When I
statement?
said this,
And do
yeah,
you think that the leadership, the top BJP leadership also suffered from that flaw over the last few years where they were not listening to voices from the ground, including voices from RSS karyakartas perhaps?
see, there are two things. One is at a local level. I'm not talking of election time. I'm talking of during the working time of last 5 years or 10 years. Let us say last 5 years, there is an MP, you keep on calling the MP, doesn't respond. You send message, it doesn't respond, or responds one, doesn't respond again. When you go with a complaint, they don't have time to attend to that complaint. Your ministers there don't time have for their workers to resolve their problems, legal problems, genuine problems. Then naturally there is a gap, and people are unhappy. That is the reason why many MPs also lost the tickets. At the same time, many got it. So the rejection of defectors by nearly out of 110, 16 are losing, and out of MPs, large number of MPs losing. That is the reason. Even MLAs don't have time. So this is not correct, because those people who elected you, whether they are from BJP or not BJP, especially if they are from party members, you have to find time for them. Nobody can be so busy. Why only BJP MP is so busy? Why if you talk to a Shiv Sena ML or MP, he's not that busy, or Congress person not that busy? That is an answer that BJP has to find out. Its MPs have to find out. They should be available.
Hmm.
You don't expect people to go to your office without calling you, without appointment. So you try to get an appointment, you get it.
Hmm.
So these are genuine problems for years, and these people know that. And whether top leadership knows or not, I do not know, but definitely Modi ji knows, because he exhorted many times the MPs to reach out to people.
Hmm.
And this is a problem for years. When
Hmm.
things go wrong, such things come out. When things are doing very fine, people tell me, people like me, the BJP leaders, local leaders tell me, Sharda, you are too sensitive. You know, you are too worrisome. Things are doing very fine. Everything is fine.
Hmm.
So when chips go down, then realize, Baba, we also made mistake. So my job is to see to it that the party which I have loved, for the party which I have supported all through my life, from my childhood, from the time when 500 votes in a constituency used to mean a big thing for our people. From that time, I have been with BJP. I am an avid supporter, though I criticize many times. I want this party to succeed. So
Hmm.
this article comes from the position that I want these people to correct the mistake and be with the people and keep on winning and establish what is we believe that truly Bharatiya centered government.
Sir, even when we would travel, every other BJP leader, karyakarta, ground level worker would say, wherever the candidate was not particularly popular, he would say that जो कमल का फूल है वो हमारा प्रत्याशी है, सारे यहाँ पे वोट जो है मोदी जी के नाम पे पड़ेंगे. In your article, you write about how that might have backfired. If we look at the RSS's history as well, there has been some kind of apprehension that the RSS has towards what they call a personality cult. Do you think that the fact that over the last 10 years there has been too much focus on Prime Minister Modi's personality, that has become a problem, or that was a problem in this election?
See, as far as Modi is concerned, is a blessing for the nation, for the party. He has worked very hard to bring the party, expand the party to whatever it is today. And at the organizationally also, he's an organizations man. Today is a mass man. He may have said, we may say that he even बिजली का खंभा खड़ा किया तो जीतेगा, जैसे नेहरू के टाइम बोलते थे. But people have matured a lot. Voters have matured a lot. So whatever the vote they get, if that is only name of the Mr. Modi, what about other voters? For example, a normal voter doesn't belong to BJP or Sangh. He will look at the candidate कि भाई इसने तो कोई बात भी नहीं की मेरे से, मैंने शक्ल भी नहीं देखी. Or he will go by the caste. My grouse is that when you do so much of Vikas, still people go by religion and by caste, then what is the use of all this Vikas? Because people shout a lot about Vikas, but when it comes to vote, they are taken in by the false narratives, fake videos, and fake stories, and they vote by caste and by religion. So Muslim get polarized vote for Congress, who has done nothing for them, as Sachar committee report very clearly says, and they can split on caste lines. So on one side you have united Muslim, which is secular, and you have divided caste, Hindu society, which is communal. This kind of narrative that is going on, it was for the BJP worker on the field to address that issue, and then reach to RSS worker saying, भैया मदद करो, यहाँ मेरे साथ आदमी नहीं है,
तो
यहाँ मुझे
ये
प्रॉब्लम है.
मैं इस इशू पे स्पेसिफिकली आना चाह रही थी, क्योंकि हमने देखा था इलेक्शन के दौरान जो बीजेपी के प्रेसिडेंट हैं जेपी नड्डा जी ने इंडियन एक्सप्रेस को इंटरव्यू में कहा कि अब मैं पैराफ्रेज कर रही हूँ, पर उन्होंने कहा कि अब भाजपा को उस तरह से आरएसएस की जरूरत नहीं है टू विन इलेक्शंस. इस बारे में सर आप बताएं, क्योंकि इवन इन योर पीस यू राइट दैट द ओनस वाज ऑन द बीजेपी वॉलंटियर टू कम टू द आरएसएस एंड से दैट वी नीड हेल्प हियर और देयर.
Always.
Did
Always, I believe this. And I would say that paraphrasing is the problem.
Hmm.
Because what
I don't have the
what
quote. I would have
no,
quoted it
I know,
verbatim.
I have read it. I
Hmm.
deliberately read it long time back when it was said that he said this and this. See, for I would have used the same
हम
word.
अपने स्क्रीन पे लगा देंगे कोट सो दैट देयर
नहीं,
इज नो
मुझे फर्क नहीं पड़ता।
पैराफ्रेजिंग और
आपने
एडिटिंग।
पैराफ्रेज का मैंने कारण बताया, लोग पैराफ्रेज समझते हैं,
जी
लोग डिटेल में नहीं जाते।
जी
आज की दुनिया में जब आप 10 सेकंड से ज्यादा आप एक स्क्रीन नहीं देखते हो, जब आप 2 सेंटेंस ज्यादा पढ़ते नहीं हो, डेफिनेटली पैराफ्रेजिंग होती है। I would have said the same as, in fact, I may have said it in my some of the YouTube conversations that every organization RSS believes should have its own cadre, whether it's Vishindu Parishad, ABVP, BMS, whosoever. So every organization has its own cadre, every organization has its own full-time workers. That is how they will grow. RSS can be a parent organization, cannot be feeder for everybody, right? Because
ऑफ
it
कोर्स
cannot, and everybody is a kind of liking for certain work. I am not a Majdoor, so I cannot be a member of Bharatiya Majdoor Sangh. I cannot work in that way. So what he said was theoretically right. Unfortunately, he said it at a wrong time, and without that fine tuning, where he says still we depend on RSS in certain cases, etc., etc. So that incomplete statement, which was not said in a very fine way, was misquoted or mistreated by even workers. So worker in the field who is not think on everything like me, will try to say, okay, just about what Nadaji said. For that person to say, हमारी जरूरत नहीं है, तो हम क्यों काम करें? On one side.
तो
Second
उसका
side,
ये इम्पैक्ट हुआ
when I
था
reach
आरएसएस
out,
पे।
yeah, on the second side, when I reach out to a local BJP worker or state level, city level worker, or leader of the BJP, कि भैया, who is the candidate here? Okay, बन गया. What can we do? When is he coming to a constituency? Nobody responds to that message. Then how do you support them? This is the problem. So this is where I talked
एक तरह
about
का
that.
कंफ्यूजन क्रिएट हो गया उस स्टेटमेंट से।
Not confusion, confusion in the sense that yes, people take it literally, and as I said, in today's way, they won't listen to the 20 minutes of the interview or the written interview. They will go by what one sentence was said by a particular publication, which he or she reads, and say, अरे नड्डा जी ने ऐसा बोल दिया, ऐसा क्यों बोल दिया, हमारी जरूरत नहीं है, तो ठीक है. So that is the message that went down in a crucial place,
सर
a
मैं
crucial
अगर
time.
आपसे अपनी इफ आई शेयर सम ऑफ द थिंग्स दैट आई नोटिस्ड ऑन द ग्राउंड व्हेन आई वाज ट्रैवलिंग एंड दिस वाज बिफोर मिस्टर नड्डा's comment came in the interview, a lot of local level RSS कार्यकर्तास felt what you have actually written, और वो प्राइवेटली बोलते थे दैट द बीजेपी हैज बिकम एरोगेंट, बीजेपी के जो एमपीज हैं एमएलएज हैं वो हमारे पास आते भी नहीं हैं। एंड वन अदर ग्राउस वाज कि टिकट डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन में पहले जो आरएसएस का थोड़ी सहमति ही ली जाती थी, इट्स नॉट दैट आरएसएस वुड सिट विद अ पेन एंड पेपर एंड टिक मार्क कि किसको लेना है, जो सहमति भी ली जाती थी वो भी अब नहीं ली जाती है। तो उस पे थोड़ा हमें बताएं, क्या इस तरह से आई एम ट्राइंग टू फाइंड द करेक्ट वर्ड, साइडलाइनिंग ना हो, पर क्या आरएसएस को उस तरह से वो रिस्पेक्ट नहीं दी गई इस इलेक्शन में,
नहीं,
या
रिस्पेक्ट की
फिर
कोई बात नहीं है. आई वुड से दैट as BJP grows, it will, on these issues, may not come to RSS every time, but yet locally they should talk to the local people. Like I would talk to anybody when I appoint a particular person to a particular, what is something called references, right? When you go for a job, you give references whom they are talking to. So RSS can be a reference point. But as I said, when this happens along with Nadaji's statement कि हमें जरूरत नहीं है, that's what pinches people. And I think that is why I talked of conversations. In this article, I said we need to go for conversations within the organization, outside the organization, with the people. What do people really want? What kind of development they want? What do they want? So I'm just raising that point. For example, if there was a lot of discussion about land acquisition, maybe it will try to go back. Maybe when you brought in, farmer bill, we had taken 1 or 2 months of formal conversations with farmers and everybody. Maybe you would have still won the case. Maybe when you were doing all this, you had 80% farmers going with you for the farmers bill, but you never brought them on the center stage. So the stage was totally monopolized by a few 5-10% farmers from Punjab, but you never cared of the people who supported you. Did they come on the platform? Were they given the platform? No. That's what I mean.
So what is the one big lesson that you think that the BJP should learn from this election?
See, only lesson is two-way feedback from the street to the leadership, from the leadership to the street. That is most important for any organization. Sangha has grown on that only. It's a feedback mechanism. Anybody from the lowest rung of the cadre can talk to the biggest office bearer of the RSS and express his or her opinion. They are available whenever they come, they have meetings. So these informal meetings, this talking to each other is the strength of organization, which BJP also has. Unfortunately, the continuous elections every 6 months have destroyed the atmosphere of all the political parties, because continuously in the election mode, you don't have time to discuss policies, you don't have time to discuss organization. बाद में देखेंगे. Let us win the election first. What has changed is how you run the organization. So BJP had a unique way of running organization, which they will correct, I'm very sure, realizing that maybe in this all electoral processes they lost this particular rhythm, this strength of BJP, because that is why BJP never collapsed. Whether they won 1 seat, 2 seats, whether they did not win any seat right from 1950s, people stood by them. So the strength of their cadre is the real strength of BJP. So they have to go back to cadre and assure them that we are listening. We are together and we will share every kind of plus and minus with you. That is a temporary deviation for which I wrote, and I believe that will happen.